So here's a quick tip for breaking the cycle of stress, and that is recognizing and interrupting negative thought patterns. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, there's quite a few different negative thought patterns that can come up in your life, such as, all or nothing thinking it's got to be all this way, or I can't do it, or I have to do it all like this, or I can't do right? Over-generalization, overthinking, catastrophizing, or however the you say that, are all examples of negative thought patterns that can come up in your life. And so it's really just sitting down, figuring out what your negative thought patterns are, what you notice coming up for you, and understanding how the stressors in your life and in your environments contribute to those negative thought patterns. I honestly recommend sitting down and journaling, really getting it out of your mind and onto paper in a place where you know is safe, where you know is judgment-free, where you know that there's going to be no negative consequences or repercussions. You're just getting it out and expressing what you know to be true, or at least what your mind knows to be true around these negative thought patterns, and everything you notice coming up. List all the environmental stressors, anything you notice in your body that comes up with those stress responses or with those thoughts. And at that point, after you start to identify them and really just figure out how they play out in your life, you can then start to implement tools and techniques to rewire that like one that I like, honestly, it's called the 5-second pattern breaker, right? It's a very generalized term, but it's a quick exercise that shifts your mentality and shifts your focus. In turn, shifting your mentality. Something simple like deep breaths, saying an affirmation really quick, doing a pose that makes you feel empowered, making a sound that makes you feel strong or empowered, just shaking out all the negative vibes so that you can come back to the situation feeling refreshed. The key here is to separate yourself when you notice these negative thought patterns coming up, the stressful environments coming up, which it gets easier to do after you've done the reflecting and the journaling about the different things that you've seen come up. You start to notice them in the moment, and then separate yourself from that. Do whatever you need to do for 5 seconds, whatever 5-second ritual that you notice really helps you shift your focus back and get back to an empowered state instead of this negative thought pattern, and really just own your strength. That is honestly how I have found to be the most effective and honestly kind of fun way to rewire negative thought patterns and interrupt them as they're coming up. You notice them, you separate yourself, you do something silly for a second. Like I do something silly, like, strike a pose or do a little jig really quick, and I make myself laugh. Now I'm focusing on the fact that I feel good. And I'm a weirdo or a dork or whatever I'm a goose who is silly. And then you can go back in to whatever the situation was stressing you out, causing those negative thought patterns, and handle it like the champion that you are.